at our example right here. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF because, again, if we were to slide this triangle over that triangle, angle A would be the same as angle D, right? Angle B would be the same as angle E. Angle C would be the same as angle F, right? And not only would their angles match up or correspond, but side AB would correspond and be congruent to side DE. Side AC would be congruent to DF. And side BC would be congruent to EF. Okay? Let's do an example. Pretend that we have triangles JKL and triangle RST, and they are congruent. So they are congruent. And let's go ahead and draw these triangles. I'm going to go ahead and label this JKL RST. And in geometry, the way that we indicate that angles are congruent are by using little marks like this. So since angle J comes first in this order, it matches up with angle R of the triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and say that these two angles are congruent. And the way that I'm going to indicate that is by drawing these little arcs inside the angles. Okay. Now the next angle in the triangle is K, and we see that it corresponds with angle S. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a double arc and make this a double arc to show that these two angles are congruent. And the last angle that we see here is angle L, and we see that it corresponds with angle T right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a triple arc right here to show that these two angles, angle L and angle T, are congruent to each other. Okay. Not only that, but we know that since these two triangles are congruent, that their sides are also congruent as well. And again, we look at the order of the letters in the way that they're written, and we see that side JK corresponds with side RS. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little dash right here and right here to indicate that these two sides are congruent to each other. And now we see that KL matches up with ST, and so I'm going to go ahead and find KL, put a double dash right here, and match it up with ST right here to show that those two sides are congruent. Okay. And then we see that JL corresponds with RT, or JL right here, and RT, and that these are congruent, so I'm going to do a triple dash to show that those two sides are congruent. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and list our corresponding angles and our corresponding sides. Okay. So I'm going to make a column right here for corresponding angles. And I'm going to make a column right here that says corresponding sides. And let's go ahead and do the angles first. Okay, so again we see that J and R are congruent, so I'm going to go ahead and write angle J is congruent to angle R. We see that angle K is congruent to angle S, so I'm going to go ahead and write angle K is congruent to angle S. And then our last two angles right here, L and T, are congruent, so I'm going to go ahead and write angle L is congruent to angle T. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the sides. Okay, corresponding sides. So JK is congruent to SR. So let's see here. Side JK is congruent to side SR. KL is congruent to ST. JL is congruent to TR. And again, the way we figured this out was by looking at this congruence statement up at the top and looking at our diagram to see which angles correspond and which sides correspond with each other. Okay. So let's just go ahead and write this really important statement down here that the order of the letters in the names of the triangles show the corresponding parts. Okay. So let's do one more example, okay? In your homework, it's going to ask you to write a congruence statement based on two congruent triangles. And how do we do this? Okay, so go ahead and go to another clean sheet of paper if you still have room. Go ahead and, use the same piece of paper. And go ahead and title your paper, writing a congruent statement. And basically, when you're writing a congruent statement, you're just saying that two triangles are equal to each other. Okay? So say like we have these two triangles, triangle ABC and triangle DEF, and we're given a diagram of them. So we're given a picture of the two triangles. Let's go ahead and draw them. Let me redraw that triangle. And we're given triangle